But yeah, I like that she's becoming more meta. Um, and these guys try Tejo. These guys are trying a bit of an old comp, right? So, talking compositions, what NA was doing a lot before all these recent changes of Wise and Tejo and stuff, right? On Pearl, it was more like this would be a Sova in NA, and this would be like KJ, right? And this would be like a standard comp, like in NA. And in Europe and maybe South America, people would try like Viper a little bit more. There will be some teams trying like Phoenix as well. Right, so this is just an old comp, like that's minor, like that's changed, because Fade is looking good right now, and Weiss is an upgrade on the KJ at the moment, especially against the Tejo. Right, so this is just the old comp, and then this is the new meta, right? The Wombo combo. Just like the Breach Stun and the Tejo missiles, right? That NRG is finally trying. NRG had a really tough time at the beginning because they didn't bother trying to put the Tejo in, and they lost a lot of the rounds because of that. And it's nice that they're like adapting like everyone else and putting the Tejo in. And I think this has helped them here on Pro. But okay, so why do you think NRG won this over 100 Thieves? Uh, Nasty or Nuts? Do you like remember like the game?
Uh,
What was the big
I'm
difference?
not
What do you
gonna lie,
think?
the only thing that's coming into my head was the ace from EU.
Mm-hmm.
But like I can't wait, I'm trying to remember how the match went. Hold up.
I think like the Pearl attack side, it's like heavier on attack side, like
Yeah,
always.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that was a plus point over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both the teams had a better time attacking.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm, I
Like
see.
defending B is quite hard. Like even with the changes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very rough. Um, yeah, definitely attack
You,
sided. But I was checking the strats. I feel like the defenders' strats were a little bit stronger. I usually like check like it was like how both teams have like an opening, as soon as
yeah.
the round starts. So I like to check which opening is stronger. And mostly the
Uh,
defenders had like
on Pearl Fnatic even ran ISO Yoru, I think.
that's crazy. They're
That
really
that that
forcing
was
now.
insane. Yeah.
This is this today?
No, I don't think it was today, but
Okay, okay.
I remember in some match they didn't play Lotus recently. I mean Pearl recently.
I see. Let's see. So, oh, oh, this wasn't okay. One esports. Okay, so right one. Weird. That's sort of crazy. Uh, okay. So let's try to get back to this. Okay. One major difference that I'm seeing. This is a bit of a like a team difference. Um, I feel like 100 Thieves strats were not like very well like planned, as in how like you have different phases in a round, right? Like you have first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth wave, sort of, you know. And I feel like 100 Thieves plans would not go past like second wave too much or second phase too much. Whereas like NRG had um like pretty good control over the rounds, like most teams do generally. I didn't think that the comp difference was like huge. Um, these guys had like better like lane control because of something that they were doing here. Let's go here. This was kind of nice. So they could keep their reach here or here, and use like a stun line here. and you know, it's just the wombo combo, basically the stun line and the missiles from Tejo, and you can just deny this much area, right? So these guys can't really scale up, so the defenders always get like access to this, right? Get the orb control. They can farm the orb. They can put like a person here to hold this line and hold like a crossfire. So all these things are like super strong. They could do the same thing on B long as well. And this is the combo you're gonna see most of the time. I feel like I think you should get used to this as well. If you play with if you play with like teammates or friends, you should ask them to play this because I feel like this is gonna be like pretty meta. But sorry, I'm having a little allergy. Um, but yeah, this is like super strong. You can get very early access to this, and a cool thing about the missiles is that they recharge 2 times if you let the game run out. Okay, we'll look at one of the rounds where NRG tries to get like 3 waves of missiles on their attack. It doesn't work for them, but it's kind of insane that you can have like 6 total missiles in a game or in a round. So very broken. Okay, with this, I'm just gonna start like from the beginning, actually. Let's see. And we'll try to look at strats, specifically strats. You know, like what is a good play? What is a bad play? You know, which team comes up on top. Okay. Um, this is good if you're an IGL, but it's nice for understanding the game in general. Okay.
Art where you can be sure it's going to hit somebody. Seeing a fault line up the long area attack side first.
I'm gonna skip through a lot of this. Okay. So right at the beginning, for pistol, we're saying okay, NRG is doing like a 4-1 A split. Okay. We're gonna skip forward a little bit this. Right. A cool thing from NRG is that they are not using any utility. Now, pistols is a lot about taking your chances, about gambling. Okay, because it's not in the attacker's favor to do a default. All right, most of the time you have pistol, you don't want to just call it like a 5-stack push, okay, or like a 4-stack push like this script. So because it's again like if you spread out on pistols, like trades happen like really easily, and you don't want trades usually on pistols because like late game 3 versus 3, for example, this is like really not in favor for attackers. Okay, just because of like how the firepower looks like. So most of the time you just want to stack push. Okay, this is worth remembering for your ranked games as well. So because it's not good for the attackers to spread out, the defenders have to make gambles as well. So it's nice that 100Thieves make like a gamble stack towards B side and then leave one person to anchor A. It's really up to them, whoever they want to leave here. Astra is a good choice. They could leave the Vice as well. But once you make the gamble, like if they are not taking any contact, they should have moved. It's important to move because with your gamble, like your 4-stack here, you want to make sure that these guys push into you and you take a fight before these guys get to the site. You don't want to be in like a retake situation most of the time. But okay, especially if one of your teammates is like hard anchoring. So they gamble here. I'm gonna go back a little bit. Okay. So early gamble stack on B. They use the knife here. Knife doesn't catch anything. You can assume that they're still here. Right. At this point, it's really nice that NRG is playing contact, right? They could have used utility to scale here. They could have used like a, let's see, like missiles or stun flashes, you know. But they're gonna push contact because it's good for them to have the element of surprise, right? That way, these guys do not like over rotate, early rotate. Okay, so usually around this corner, you would see most teams use some utility to clear this. but NRG is gonna be a little bit more patient with it. Patience is like a big thing with NRG. I feel like the way that they're playing, a lot of like holding back the fights basically until the right time.
To see if there's pressure coming out from 100Thieves towards the A orb. You can't really scale out at the
So
very
again,
beginning of
even
the
this
fight.
corner
Also,
is checked
behind it to see what's
dry,
happening towards
you
the
know,
B
only
side.
contact. And this is where it's troubling that 100Thieves doesn't move and doesn't try to check main, for example, check here, check mid, you know, or early rotate, you know. It's like this is kind of bad. It's got kind of bad mid rounding.
As they kick things off, the first contact comes from
So from here, NRG is gonna say, okay, well, you know, this is enough. This is enough risk we've taken. Let's just execute the site, okay, and take this area with the basic utility. All of this is not like super planned. You can sort of tell that the sun just comes out. Like, you know, these are like common spots. That looks really bad. But these are like common spots for you know, sending the salvo, the missiles basically. The stun is like pretty simple as well. So it's a nice cycler, right? This like dash, like, you know, smoke dash is like pretty it's improv, you know what I mean? But it's nice, you know, like a lot of utility used to clear site. It's a little bit rough now because NRG won't have as much utility for post mount when these guys come and retake, right? So I think they should take a little bit more space. I think they should fight for this control.
Down the members of 100 Thieves
Invested so much.
Towards that B area. They can still come into play
All right,
here.
now Ethan's gonna get out because again he's gonna wait for his salvo to recharge, right? And it's just everyone else's job to sort of delay this. Okay. So this was pretty rough, right? Like these guys just had free access to art, like entirely, right? They could just walk in through art and like take the site, sort of free. The only way this gets stopped is like if 100 Thieves collect some information. So these are protocols, right? Like 100 Thieves need to work on their protocols a little bit to have like better mid rounding. Okay, so this is a little bit rough. It's not like too bad. It's still 5v5 retake. 5v5 retakes are not bad in pistols. I would really not recommend doing like 5v5 retakes on full buys or any other rounds for that matter. It's always better to have like at least one person fight and die, trying to protect areas or site. Okay. But play for 5v5 retakes here. The timings of the retake are like pretty much obvious to NRG because of like how these guys from 100 Thieves got like stuck on this. The three of them should like, you know, step together across the wall. I think Booster is a little careless. And so it's pretty good peak to clear Morno, but the problem here already is that these fights are happening like very late. Like right now, the choke should be getting contested, and there should be like someone getting to the spike to have like enough time, to have like a nice post mount fight. It's very chaotic. Like now that gets a couple kills. 3v2 crossfires. So pretty easy to remove this, you know. But again, how do they win this round? Because this is sort of given freely, right? Both teams make gambles, right? So the gamble works out in NRG's favor because you know, they don't run into their gamble stack, right? But also there's lack of mid rounding from 100 Thieves here, or like slow mid rounding, right? So that can be really problematic. Okay. Next round we go to is it's a force from NRG. Something that's cool is like in the first half, I don't think we're gonna see. I think we'll see a single eco, you know, eco round from any team, from both the teams. Both teams, despite losing, winning, have like full buy essentially every round. It's like either force where they have like half armor and like rifles, or it's just like full buy for both teams, which is crazy econ management. It's worth like paying attention to that. Try to keep in mind like how they're buying. Here they won like convincingly, I think. So, you know, forcing like 2 rifles, you know, having like one like sort of niche weapon, and then 2 like pistols that you can sort of like throw away. Then it's like pretty decent buy, because these 2 are gonna get converted like very well into the next round. So this is typical, right? Like you see, I think this is missing, like part of this WOD is missing, but I think pretty sure there was like a stun here. It's followed up with this. I think this is a bit of a misclick, but I think they're just trying to remove these spots. Gives them this, right? Like the orb, sort of for free.
Few bullets added really make it troublesome to deal with. So see, Boostio did go straight a few.
So this is another thing that I would tell you. This is like the nicest tool that you can have if you're IGLing or any team, or if you want to give strats to your team, like if you're playing ranked, you know, and people do not have any idea what to do. You want to position yourself based on the guns that you have and on the economy that you have. This is a force buy, right? We have 2 rifles. So these 2 rifles should be grouped with another person. Okay. And the person who has like pistols can lurk like sort of solo. The Jet can play solo, right? Because of the long range weapon she has, right? Like the scout she is running. Right? But the rifles you want to have like grouped all the time, right? And NRG follows all of these like rules, like these protocols. They play grouped to take this space, right? The rifles are together, you know, any trades that happen, they can exchange the rifles, pick them up for the ground, or you know, you can have like people die who have pistols and it won't matter as much. They take the space, they leave the Jet who has like a niche weapon. You know, this could be a judge, it could be you know, a stinger, depending on how you wanted to take a fight. These guys are choosing for the marshal because that's what Mada wants to run. Right, they deposit him and then they leave, and then everyone else stays grouped.
Shots. He's always been good for a couple.
Now, it's problematic for 100 Thieves to be spread out over the map. It's better for them to be grouped, right? So they started spread out, but they're now grouping. It's because they just do not have any firepower, right? If they fight 1vx, like 1v2, even 1v1, they're gonna lose most of the time, right? So it's just better to play in numbers, right? So gambling here again for them is good. They're gonna see this activity in A main. They're gonna rotate towards A. And they have to re-clear A main so that they have like a good timing on rotation, right? So Mada dodges this knife, right? Like surely they have to re-clear this. Right, so Mada dodges this knife. Like it's very lucky that he dodges it and then holds this line. Because these guys have to re-clear. The knife didn't check anything, so they have to face check things, right? And this works out perfectly for them, right? Now, this whole time, the KO is like jump peeking here to make sure nothing is happening on B, right? NRG is like super patient until like this re-clear happens. They're just gonna stay here, you know? They're just gonna wait for the re-clear to happen. And like based on what happens after the re-clear, you know, whether they get a kill or not, they're gonna decide whether to hit B side or go through mid or go through A. This is like detailed like planning, you know, in different phases, right? So like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. So they get this kill while, you know, Teho is cleaning this area with the drone. So that seems clear.
And if there's more players coming through, well, that's enough information to give for Finesse to say, hey, let's just fast
Asuna is just checking this.
But Mada after that kill, nobody else came out, so they still have
and
to play.
This is like really weird because now again they need to re-clear. They just fought here, right? They're not certain that this is gonna be a push because it was just one shot from Mada. There was nothing else used here, you know? So there's no way to tell whether it's him alone or there's more people. They need to check this, and they have full utility for this. Like EU has literally full utility, right? He could check this right now, but Asuna gets timing here. He doesn't tell his teammates that there's a possibility that someone crossed over here with the smoke, right? And now he's just gonna leave. And it's really painful because NRG gets again the site for free with like really good economy compared to them and like more numbers, right? So they're like stuck in a 4v5 retake situation. It's just not winnable.
See entry with the plan could be halfway to energy. They
So
don't
they're
want
not
to
gonna even try it, you know.
ult-
So it's a good call from them to not try actually and just die to the spike.
Browns, all the UT
But it's like pretty rough that they don't get to intercept at all. Right. So NRG again has like better strats so far in the second round. Now third round we're gonna see like a full buy from NRG basically, and then full buy plus a glass cannon up here on cryo.
or I guess he used it here to look
Op
down
is like super good on this map.
on that line. I think he's on that double box to look down
Something that's worth like stealing is also I think Boostio's setup on A site. It's like super good.
towards B. Right. And that's the advantage.
Actually, we're gonna see that this round,
We talked about the
like how well that's gonna work out for them.
economy that are the
So
user-
it's just like a 1-4, like you know, four person execute on A site, right? Like where Astra is lurking just in case the execute doesn't work
he
out.
doesn't really have to go for the aggressive.
Same things. He keeps using this this like salvo, this missile. I'm not sure why. If anyone has an idea why he's using this missile, let me know. Okay, it's like a second time he's doing this.
Skill or
Maybe,
info.
maybe Cryo likes to get wide on it and like aim in if they try contest. I don't know.
Hmm. So like people like to fight like
That,
this.
well, that's the angle most people would swing if they're trying to hold a main, but 100 Thieves didn't really fight a main much this whole
Right.
game. But...
Like you'd
Maybe they're trying to
imagine.
break YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking maybe, because maybe you can break some util here with that. Another thing that I'm thinking could be is like if let's say they have like a set knife, you know, to check information, that might be broken with that
Or
solver.
tries to get a timing.
Yeah, like as a part of default, like let's say they did some homework on 100 Thieves, right? And part of the 100 Thieves default is like a knife here, for example, right? To check close information, then it will break that. Maybe it will break the flash. I'm not really sure. He's done it like twice now. Maybe he's just missing it twice. It's really weird to see like the salvo being here.
I guess he used it here to look down that line. I think his cannon to armor, no updraft. But there are, or I guess he used it here to look down that line. I think he's on that double box to look down.
Let's
towards
see it
B.
again.
And that's the advantage. We talked about the economy that are the util that energy doesn't really
That's truly weird.
have to go for the aggressive
Like this makes sense. This is okay.
skill
People would usually play here, you know, not here. So
or
it's really
info.
weird.
That's a great spot to be with the op.
Okay. So this round, okay, so they farm the A site orb again.
Ethan farming orbs.
Give a bit of a fake footsteps, right? Like you know, the bit of like a bunny hop that he did, right? He stops the bunny hop here.
And finesse.
So right now, two possibilities. Right now they're like stacking here. You know, for 100 Thieves, like if they want to read what's happening, either NRG is stacking here, or they're gonna rotate, like maybe take some space mid, or go B and like farm the orb here.
To his old
So
ways
they gotta check for this, right? They need to have protocols to check for this.
of take
So usually this is when you would see like an eye come out to collect some information, or maybe the flash being used by Boostio to collect information, whether people are still here or not.
time.
This is such an interesting wall that we just saw here in
But
pre-camp.
they don't really see that.
Set up by Boostio.
Smoke is used on
Feeling
A
that you
main,
wanna have, trying to take control of
and that's usually like a good invitation for people to like play here. But like if you just smoke this, then people are gonna get ready to execute site.
You're gonna have
if they are
potentially a
here.
flash coming out with the wall. You have
Right?
everybody
So
split in.
NRG jumps
Or
onto
you
that
start
opportunity.
spamming from the
They see
W.
that, yeah, okay, they just smoked for this. It's nice. Like we can use the smoke to get like really close without getting shot at, right? And then enter the site based off of that. So we see an aftershock here to remove this position, so no one can play up close and like take these shots, right? Okay, next up we're gonna see a just smoke here to enter into it. Let's see, what else do we use?
Up by Ethan Salvo.
Alright. So it's just a bit of a bait utility to like force out, you know, these traps. Okay. So we
Just
see a
fine.
pull being
Going
triggered.
down, nobody's gonna be able to walk
Both
through
of these
yet,
things
but,
get
you know, it may
triggered,
give a false sense
right?
of security.
And now rotations are starting to happen, right? 2 people have started moving because of this poke that just happened, right? So right now is the timing for NRG to enter, right? As soon as these things go down, in fact, like a little bit earlier even.
The vines go away, they feel they can run in sight.
So now they should go in.
Just spotted that
Now this should have been a dash, I think,
wall though. Everybody stay away from the right side. You saw that kind of tuck.
because any longer, they're gonna have to fight 4 people, right? So it's a little bit rough. They have missed their timing.
Down coming in from Mata.
Mata's still inserted
So
though.
now the dash comes in. It's a little bit unlucky.
Wall, they're gonna get into the site.
Okay,
Cryo
trade comes in.
trades one, but Mata's already in a very
And I think this wall is coming in really handy right now. Like, this is really, really good. Because now this guy was like completely isolated, right? He crosses over with the spike, wall goes up, flash blinds the person who's separated by the wall, and can be killed by anyone from behind this area. Right? So it's like super, super nice setup to isolate people.
very sticky position. You can see the wall is actually preventing
And then they can't really enter, you know, like this. So it's really cool.
from getting around there. Just the sliver open, but no movement
Huge shots
possible.
after that.
And that is going to cordon off NRG, so they are taken down one by one.
And that is free though, right? Like everything's like cleaned up.
Capitalizes on 2 more.
So a really nice setup. I think like you can easily like seal that. I would totally encourage you playing Vice on this map. Okay. Next round number 4. Okay. This is the round that I was mentioning earlier, where NRG tries to use all three recharges of the salvo of the missiles to finish their default or to get like good map control.
Traps it up.
Thing is, like, it barely cuts the timing, right? By the time the 3rd wave comes in, it's like there's not much time left on the clock. So it's not a very good idea in my opinion. Like, you should only play for 2 waves, and maybe the 3rd wave you can keep for post-spawn.
They would have been
Okay, so they start with this, right? Same thing that we saw earlier, right? Stun, and then salvo here, salvo here.
easy for him to gain that confidence and just stalling those players across with a nice little trap
Everything
setup.
cleared here. This time around, they don't even bother picking up the orb, which I'm not sure what's up with that. But they leave Mada again. Which is kind of nice.
Solo util, but NRG now, that was a bonus round, so they have a rifle round going into round number 4. Blade Storm from Mata, same spot, so kind of just playing.
Right. So now leave one person here, right? Werno's marking mid, right? Because there was some noise here, so people are rotating from 100Thieves side towards A side a little bit more. Nothing too crazy here. Cryo has an AWP for B side,
Now Verno standing
right? Yeah, Ethan's gonna use the drone to get this information.
on.
See.
That's the advantage
So
too.
there
of
are
a
people
drone
on
out
B
from
side.
KO instead of, for example, a prowler or a drone to get so much distance, so you could start even further back.
Expect
So,
Cryo.
all right, second wave of salvo used here. Okay, here to pull out anyone on this side of the line. Right. So now, NRG has everything that's in yellow. Okay, is theirs. All right. This much and this much. Okay. So 52 seconds remaining, and they have taken both extremities. You know, like full A main control and like full B main control, right? With this, there's nothing that 100Thieves can do about this except for re-clear and re-push, right? For which they already left Mada here, right? So now they clear this, and then they should leave someone for this as well. Now we have 50 seconds remaining.
Knife hits Conway.
I think they're gonna leave Som here. I'm not sure. They just leave it like completely, but they could have left Som here.
How quick
Any util again. Yeah,
Mata.
And now they group up on the side of A, right? Because now like 100Thieves cannot tell whether people are still here, here, right? They have to leave people here, right? This is where it kind of sucks that they do not re-clear things with their utility. Again, EU has like full util in his hand, right? Boostio has the recharge on his flash, right? So a lot of mid rounding is missing from 100Thieves.
so much stall still.
Almost.
Right. NRG is gonna try and execute towards A. You know, people are rotating towards here,
One shot
and
from
they're gonna
Mata,
make the mistake
just into the roof.
where they poke the site a little bit, but
Yeah,
they're gonna wait for this to recharge and then execute with it. I think they should have just gone in before, like either by splitting through art or just forced us execute. Like, I know there's not much time to remove the traps, but when you're forced to take the site with like 14 seconds remaining, it's very obvious for the defenders. All the timings of the fights, you know, when they need to peak, it's like completely in their favor, because as attackers you're gonna be bound by timing. You don't get to leave planting the spike, for example.
Bustio getting to a real stinky spot right here, and he's gonna be able to get one
So
onto Mata.
all of these
Straight into
fights,
the one and done.
like, all the timings are
Oh dear.
100%
Yeah, there's a lot of blind
expected.
members of NRG, but they're all bunny hopping around and break the crosshairs. Fragment goes down.
This is huge, right? And that's the round over. Right. So 3 waves before plant, I would say, you know, it's a little too much, but post plant, like third wave of like missiles, like third recharge of missiles, it's like super good.
Look at the Razor
I
Fire.
think they need to like sort of nerf it.
There's no opportunities to
Okay. Round number 4. Again, we're seeing like full bias, I think. In round number 4. So round number 5 is when we see our first eco.
They don't know that we do.
would have gone down if it
That's
wasn't
true.
for that spam for
That's a good
EU.
point.
So
The things
Round
they
5 is a
do,
little bit rough, I
a
think.
little bit of a low buy here.
Just an attempt at like a B split.
NRG is gonna push a little harder to see if they
It just sort of falls apart.
Origin anticipate those.
fire and everybody back now holding. It's got to count.
Technically, how do you walk out of these smokes usually from art with this type of composition? So you could get punished, and you will.
So
Seen much walking out of the
fights
smoke
like
now.
these, there's not much they can do against this. Right? They don't have a ton of utility. All these angles are very hard to clear with the resources they have. So we're just gonna skip this round because it's very little that we can learn from it.
Jet trying to play other.
It's not a bad attempt. Going through art like when the economy is that bad is like a pretty good call, because most guns become like low range guns like classics and like, you know, single shotguns like this as well. They become like super effective like in this area. All of this area, like even back here, you have stingers, for example, right? So it's a good area to attack with this kind of economy, but
Holding a bit of the safety is just
doesn't
gonna
work out.
scatter. The
Into his wheelhouse.
crazy stuff.
Still a
Okay.
heavy investment.
Around number 6 is like super good because I think we see like some really good mid rounding from NRG.
To still want to throw your life away like that, but okay,
So
we're-
100 Thieves now has a lot more control over A. They have like an Astra deposited here, and I used here, so a ton of information. And I've guessed this information as well.
back to that mid control for energy, and that fault line is going to get ready to go down that street again, but there's a sheer right up, and that's heard by Mata, so they could bait that out at the very beginning, and that's
It's nice. This is like a good habit that you want to have in general, right? So before Vice, like when KJ was meta, like a big part of there were two defaults, two types of defaults. Either you would have like A main control or B main control. And the second default would be you would take mid control where you break KJ utility first. Right, so you remove the KJ turrets here, alarm bots here, right? And then the defenders have to pay attention here, and then that makes like A main and B main weaker as a result, right? So this is like similar to that. They're triggering the Vice utility here, to like bring more attention towards the mid area.
you bait the two players forward to get hit by that fault line as soon as the wall comes down.
They're still going to be peaking.
So it's a nice setup, right? Like, because the wall goes up, like surely someone's gonna be marking this line, right? So they're ready with the stun to like punish that.
There's the fault line. we were talking
This is
about.
kind of huge.
Giving
If
themselves
probably like if it was anything else, like that was not a jet, like they would have taken some damage.
the safety to take street. Spike is
But they get a pick off this
still down.
and the control here.
This is all
Werner loses this 50-50. It's a little bit rough.
just an adventure. They're trying to figure out what
So now in this moment, NRG doesn't have access to this at all, right? But they have taken like second mid control. So it's a good exchange, right? Now either they could understand that they're on the left side of the map and just flood B side as a reaction, which is what most teams do. Or they could reclear this and reset the map. Okay, because if they reclear this, push this guy back here, then it's very hard for 100 Thieves to tell where is NRG gonna attack. Okay,
On
so
the map, and Bruno found something he did not.
And you have salvos on these
immediately we have the breach reclearing this, right? And along with the reclear, we have like an out push as well, and keeping like Mada as a deposit because these guys had like control over here already, right? It's like the third, fourth round where we're seeing deposits in like 6 rounds so far, right? So very typical FNS IGLing where he leaves deposits to get value later.
Hey, as they route around the back.
This is huge for Mada. They check with the Prowler, and Prowler comes all the way here, right? So right now, 100 Thieves can assume that up to this area is clear, okay, because of how close the Prowler went, right? Mada is gonna capitalize on this and immediately scale up here.
Backside here, you
Because
have
it's a bit of a
Bruno
vacuum.
and Mata that would kind of hold
Right.
the flank.
So right now they were hitting A site, like NRG was hitting A site, which would have been a really good call, but Mada, I mean, he's just a jet player. He's not even the IGL, right? He's just a jet player, right? He's not setting up fights. He's not like, using a ton of like utility to set up like sites. We already have like stars put on the map, right? But still, NRG is gonna listen to his mid rounding, which is kind of really cool.
He's gonna make his way around. They're gonna go
So he
all
gets
the
the
way back.
vacuum. He gets the really nice timing here. I think he hears the footsteps as well.
Oh, this is her too. As soon as they come through Ivy.
And
Yeah.
then,
I think
you know,
also
this is huge, right? Like they get this line, B side for free, and then they extend this. And this is such a good, like such perfect way to use the Tejo ult, right? It covers all of this area, right? It starts here and pushes people in this direction, right? It's really important how you orient this ult, right? So this is like super nice because this buys all of this space for a decent amount of time, right? Where NRG can actually enter B site, Mada can get a little bit more space.
And that's going to be stalled out. At least they'll get a plant, but that's no Armageddon for the post plant for NRG.
Really nice map control. This is really what we had expected to see.
So they don't need to plant like safe,
Just kind of
but
go
they're gonna
around
do it
the
anyway.
world here to get themselves to plant.
But with all
And
this
Ethan
massive
understands that he can't leave.
space, they're still planning scared in a default spot, so you have to
So
play within the
this is
site.
like
And
super
you know
good
that 100 Thieves are good for
from
the map
NRG so
retakes.
far.
This might not be the best plat now for NRG.
Bladestorm for
And it
trouble.
sort of sucks for 100 Thieves because they're running an op to retake.
He's gonna get
Cryo is just gonna use his ult, which
Go over the
makes
shoulder to
sense.
take this space. Cosmic Divide
Knife
comes
is
out.
nice, like the knife that covers all of the site, right? The Astra ult is good.
Split whoever is long.
But
That's
Ethan
gonna
gets
be
a kill.
some, and Finesse, they are
It's
still
a pretty good like aggro spots to play in, right? Like it's generally a really nice area to fight in. If they're gonna use the Astra ult, right? This is like nice mid rounding, good reaction, to select like a nice kill zone.
hitting shots from the side of NRG as 100 Thieves try for the pain to come
So really good mid rounding from NRG there. Worth taking inspiration from. Because early round, like both the teams had a tie, you know, in terms of like which strat was better. As soon as the round started, it was all mid rounding that changed the game. And again, there was not like a much difference in econ. Again, we're seeing like pretty similar economy, or like this is a bit of a force, but still like a full buy. It's full buy with an operator,
You had the insert of Mana quite early
despite like losing a round, right?
towards the orb.
Still able to afford the operator.
Behind that
It's kinda
box.
great.
Sorry to be pinged out. Watch out for that spot.
Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, this round again. I think we're just gonna see like a fast B here. Only detects the jet, but it's still like because jet is frontline, it's still worth rotating. And then this time around, 100 Thieves actually uses the eye to clear this area. So
Knife is actually good.
now it makes a ton of sense to rotate for both of these guys.
Good enough to know here that they're gonna stick as a group.
Quick kill on the
Now
drone.
Ethan uses the drone. Notice how he used it. He has been using the drone like constantly to clear this area. So it's a slight conditioning involved. Because if he keeps using drone every round, then it's hard to tell that this is gonna be an execute. So, or five
Always on the
five
front
stack
line.
push.
Mata's ready to step forward here. Util's ready, but Bustio has steel guard.
Now they still have like the jet here. Like Cryo is still playing here with the operator. Because there's still a chance that NRG comes back and reclears this after like maybe farming the orb here. Or like go this way. But most of the rotations have happened here. Now NRG is again, I feel like a little bit late on taking the site. They haven't broken all of this. I don't know. I don't think they know that there's a vice here.
Behind these smokes. There it is.
So much.
Oh my gosh.
So that's like a huge delay out.
Oh no.
But everything got used instantly on that pop.
They try to enter with it, and it's really bad.
Quick spike is down. That's gonna be a scramble.
So I think quite late on the execute here. Like completely denied here, right? So either you get the timing on your execute right, or you gotta slowly chip away on the defenses, and then maybe like keep the rotations on this area a little bit more before you execute, right? So those are two ways to execute. Here I think the timing would have been like way easier if they timinged it, but yeah, they misread that. Really good anchoring from 100Thieves. Okay. So at this point, let's see. It's NRG calling for a timeout. Yeah, it makes sense for them. They are at like 4-3, right? Attack sided map, so you want to have the advantage on attack. So right now they're like losing massively, right? Even though it's like only one round difference. And essentially they need to win every other round, basically, to get like not a 5-7 and like 4-8 advantage, which is like a really good advantage that you want to have. Because 5-7 is expected, right? If it's attack sided map rather than a 6-6, like a 5-7 is expected, right? So pretty good round to call the timeout, even though the round difference is not much.
Another one for 100Thieves. They take a fourth round. I love this.
This round is a little bit weird. It's a bit of a blunder on 100Thieves' end. So NRG is gonna start with the same thing that they did earlier, right? A stun and then salvo here. Get this early position. Okay, Breach is gonna pop, like Venice is gonna farm his ult. Like now he's one ult orb away from ult, right? So now he's expected to go here, right? And from the other orb and then go B side, right? Like this is something that you would read, right? So again, so that they are not called by the read, like they're gonna go mid instead to punish something like this. Because right now people should be marking this area. And we have jump peaks coming from Asuna here, right? Just again, they needed to mark this, right? So they had Asuna playing here, someone else playing here, and they didn't bother checking this on time. Right? So Asuna jump peaks this, and this seems empty, even though Psalm has crossed. Right? So it's just a leak, you know. And leaks are like really bad in like high tier like this, like tier 1 or like S tier teams. But it's also kind of nice from NRG to capitalize on this leak, like the lurk. So the way he checks this is like really nice as well. He clears like this area first, because mostly rotations happen like this. Okay, so you want to cache this first and then move here, because it's unlikely that this guy's watching in your direction.
They're gonna call everyone back here with this lurk
and goes all the way here. And it's like a really nice line from him as well, right? Like instead of like going here to look for picks, he chooses to go this way and then once he gets close, like he can make a decision how to go about it. There's another way to go around it, like it's like here. This is a little bit safer, but this has more opportunities. So notice how like NRG is getting ready for the contact as well. Like they are like pretty much ready.
Staircase of art into the A connector. So Som comes in, it's gonna be a free
So
kill.
delays this, you know, collects a little bit of information,
Stop it. Stop
right? And as soon as this happens, now there's a pinch. Like this guy has to fight here. It could be anyone, like with the rifle, maybe, right? This was all clear, so we can assume that people are here. So this guy's gonna fight next, right? And we can pinch him to disallow
Oh, he took a picture
to
before
take
he
any
went
fights.
Almost a timing there with Cryo. Almost
Alright,
got
so
mixed
this
up with the
is
other
great for NRG, right? And then they take side control. Obviously, they should take a little bit more, I feel like.
operator to
Gonna actually leave Mata in sight here just to get a little aggressive.
And then on top of all of this, like it's really, really painful that you have like offside postman, because now this is like a really bad part of the meta right now. Which is like this is available late game. This thing buys a stupid amount of time. Postman, so they can use this. They can use like a pull. They can use the barbed wire, like razor vines, on site. You know, so if all of these guys are playing offsite, it's like really, really difficult to actually get the defuse off. With an operator, it's even more painful because these guys actually need to just sort of ignore the utility on site and fight main instead to have any chance at winning this round, right? And then the operator gets in the way of that as well, because you can't scale it as fast.
100 Thieves, they're gonna start having to worry about how
So honestly, they're quite late already.
and now putting the pain on
Mala's doing his thing, like he needs to stay on site, you know, fight and delay, basically.
EU
It's
cannot
typical
get
stuff.
the trade on. They go for a quick flash. Nice turn by EU and that pop flash coming in from Asuna. The teamwork coming into play, and that's how we've
Right,
seen
but
these
it's like so
retakes.
late at this point that it's just better for 100 Thieves to leave.
Figure out, wow.
you had lineups and a lot more
So that's gonna be a part of the meta. You want to be like super careful with this. Make sure you're keeping track of like what kind of utility is left for the other team. If they have a lot of deny utility or delay utility, just take the fight to them. You know, start like trying to fight them instead of like trying to pressure the spike or try to defuse or whatever.
proactive.
Yeah.
Much
It's usually the way to like resolve that. Okay. Round number 9 is a little bit weird. Not worth looking at it too much. 100 Thieves has a good call here. They make like good gambles. Fights are nice. It's really scrappy at the end.
And ready.
Very late like rotations from Boostio. These guys fight okay.
Latest he can be.
Just very scrappy fights, so
Buy so much time for the team. Now you still have the
not
utility
much worth
decent
learning from it, not gonna lie.
Gosh.
It's like a 2v2, you know, it's no one really has the advantage. It's really, really like randomized. So we're gonna skip through that. This round is kind of cool.
Man,
So far there has been a lot of defense in this area from 100 Thieves. Most of the time you're gonna execute A site. It's gonna be like a bit of a split where more people go to art and less people go to main, or maybe you start with main control and then come back to art and then split into A site, leaving only 1 or 2 deposits. But there is another way to execute this area. Instead of executing the site or taking backside control, like you could pinch into art instead, especially if the defenders are playing for art control like very heavily and are playing here often and here often, right? So instead of like taking the site, you pinch into art, you get like 2 kills, and then you can convert from here by either going to site or like clearing here, you know, and splitting the map into half, right? So you have options after getting a couple kills in art. So that's what NRG is gonna do here.
5th round for themselves on the side 100 Thieves.
So this boy goes here all the way.
Back and forth and the team's
And I know like the setup is sort of like this, so it doesn't make a ton of sense to actually go on site.
read each other and adapt quick. You're the art play again, Vans. The pressure of the play.
So also fights from some here. I think more utility being used in this direction.
Big frags to start him off, and they're going to be pressuring Ace.
This is
right
kind of
away.
nice as well.
At least there's still delays that could come out from Boostio. He still has one shear and at least a razor vine.
Yeah, I don't know. Like if we had Salvo here, like you know, with this paired with Salvo, it's like pretty over. I don't think Lucio can survive that.
On towards Cathedral.
That wall doesn't allow him left side coverage of the site.
This is kind of great, like because now they're using the wall to their advantage with how they're playing for this area rather than like backside or whatever. So they just trigger the wall and then play on the right side, or left side of it.
Through the angle he wants it. Oh, hello. A big surprise.
Better prepared this time when the wall would drop. Okay. Timeout comes from 100 Thieves, like 5-5 here. Even if they get one round right now, that's great, but right now, like, the score is in their favor.
On how they wanted to, or where the opponents were coming from. With that one low HP from the
Alright,
Z's,
now
it's just
Oh my.
let's skip through this a little bit fast.
really be in good position.
This is like a little bit rough, because, okay, no. Pretty heavy eco here, right, like with a single stinger. And then this is a full buy. With like Mada's ult coming up, right? So we've talked about this before already, right? These guys need to gamble, maybe aggro somewhere, take a fight before the plant happens. And then NRG needs to make sure that they do not drop any weapons into their territory, right? So we're gonna see that, like very simple protocol. NRG stays grouped here. Whoever's playing like solo is like playing super passive, right? They're not really gonna confront anyone.
Goes back.
Same aggressive setup on A.
Just mill about the map and
Mada's left with Outlaw. Even if he does lose the Outlaw, it's not the worst thing in the world.
after a timeout, you're either going to go really fast or
So it's
you're
pretty good optimization of like
going to
what should we call it, of economy.
respect what your opponent could be coming up with. So
He's not gonna bother staying too long.
NRG are expecting
Plays away from the smoke.
something crazy here.
I mean,
NRG's grouped here.
time.
Another problem again, like same thing with 100 Thieves that they had before. They gambled this, but they did not push here or like mid or here to collect information. So their gamble started getting stale, right? This time around they're gonna go aggro here to sort of
That is
collect
gonna
Oh,
some
go down in
info.
this round. So 100 Thieves are like, well, they're probably working.
Right, now that is contact, right? As soon as this is broken, like the drone is broken, I'm sure the drone spotted these guys.
This A site, they walk up, they get spotted by the drone. This is very,
Right.
again,
So
just the
it's
one-
really nice and controlled from NRG. They're not gonna bother like super like peeking like super deep, right? They're just gonna like
protocol that NRG has
deny
for
the space.
anti-ecos.
So get traded a little bit.
Trades are perfect at this
The
point.
smoke comes out and they're not gonna bother with like fighting more here, even though they have advantage, right? A trade happens, but it's like 2-for-1, right? So it's not worth like fighting too much for it. It's better to just maintain the numbers and like stay
That
grouped.
NRG comes
Stick
out
to
on
protocol.
top. They still have mana inserted towards that A site.
So the rifle's gonna get picked, I think. I'm not
At
sure.
the very least, they know their
No, 100 Thieves doesn't even get to pick the rifle because it's like so far in.
players out of the 5.
Waiting.
I think NRG knows that.
Oh, Xander
So again,
tries.
playing super grouped, right? Like if you threw a nade here, like you know, you'd have like a ton of like damage, but it's just like what you want to do. When you have this much of an econ difference.
There's a few more layers to what's going to happen inside before they
It's good
dive
protocol.
in.
Every
Tries
peak
to
is like a
go
double
right
peak.
crosshairs, he's gonna take the kill himself.
Let's go for Mada.
And yeah, they just hide
Let's try
over
my
towards that
finesse.
right wall.
A lot of ults.
That's the round over.
That money, and it's not going to be a glass off this time.
Now, let's round this off. Very slow push here. This is something that we haven't seen from NRG so far. So this is kind of a nice play to like 4-stack push here and then execute into B. Same drone that we've been using every round, right? So it's like part of conditioning.
Back towards street control. This time with a
Flash
instead of
peek.
the fault line, really
So yeah, no contact peek here. Just flash peek to get like 4 people in.
trying to give a tell. No walls coming through. It's been utilized towards this B site.
Seems like they're trying to trigger some things, like trigger like their setups,
Thing is,
traps.
Asana's a little bit out in the open here, and they have to start anticipating this hit. And that's
Use
when
the
it starts to
stun
eventually
and sorry, like the ult and get mollied here. Like just get stopped. Which is really weird. I think they could have taken the site. But yeah, this is the reaction. The reaction ult from Boost here, which they were expecting, so now they're gonna wait.
After using the rolling thunder to get the rotations out.
So bit way around, honestly. Crash should have hit this. I don't think this is like the best call for them to still go B site, like after all the noise that they made and everything. There has been zero pressure towards A. Xander's pushed all the way here, so these guys know exactly what's happening. Just it's gonna be a B split, right? There's no way that these guys push towards this or are when they have zero control in A main. Right? So it's like it's a dead giveaway.
Oh, what? Cryo misses the shot, doesn't even hit FNS.
But Cryo misses that. Mala gets this kill. So it's a bit rough. It's really unfortunate for Boostio, but at least he gets his kill.
This is easily going to give NRG the site. The lurk from Xander could be big.
I think Cryo should make a play here. I think he should just generally go in and look for a pick.
That's going to give him up. Beautiful.
It's gonna take a lot of time for Xander to come out, and I don't think the op has like properly made contact again from this position.
What NRG is doing around the map continuously
Being good in these spots, like
They're gonna wait. Xander gets his positioning, gets marked by Ethan, already spots him. So they're not gonna entertain him too much.
Okay, quick trades, just drops into sight, and we finally see
Xander. It's a little bit unlucky. Shot from the finish. That's a half. Okay. Right. So in terms of like strats, again, it's a bit of a 50-50. Oh, so let's say, yeah, 100Thieves gets like 5 times. Yeah, okay. 100Thieves gets like 5 good rounds. NRG gets 5 good rounds of like strat advantage, and then 2 rounds they have like equalized. Like, you know, it's just a bit of a tie. Both the strats are equally good. Both the openings are equally good. That was the first half. So and NRG lost like NRG starts strong, and then they lose the control of the game, and then they come back towards the end. But a lot of the comebacks are towards mid-rounding, like, so good adaptations from NRG. You can sort of see that, like, you know, like they have like a ton of like polish. I don't think they're quick enough yet. I think like some teams might bully them a little bit more because they're reacting slow. We can go over the second half. Second half is like better performance from NRG. One round is like really cool, but we should actually look at it. But we're sort of out of time. Like we're past 1 hour now. I'm gonna show you this round number 18. This is really nice because it's not something that teams do a lot. This is like really good understanding of map control. I think it's like worth learning from.
Play out, we finally get to see a little bit of it.
So we have like a full eco from 100Thieves, with the jet knives, like a hero bulldog on EU. It's full buy on NRG. Okay. So yeah, 100Thieves just goes for like 1-4 split, which I mean it's fine, it's whatever, right? Like they're gonna try and get a kill here, see what they can do. So Cryo gets stopped with utility. This is really bad from Xander to actually challenge here. Like 100Thieves was NRG was in the exact same situation on their attack in their 1-4 split, and that they had Ethan playing here, right, just using the drone and not taking any fights. Because now that Xander is dead, there's no crossfire, there's no pressure from this part, right? So 100Thieves is sort of forced to change their course because they can't hit B side anymore because there's no more pressure from this side, right? So if they hit B side again, like just through this, it's gonna be a single choke, like, you know, 4 people coming out of like a small clown car choke, getting like, you know, it's like fish in a barrel.
into the round.
So 100Thieves is gonna start looking for other options. Strat throws a bit of an eye here. Like maybe they can leave like some lurkers here.
Right now, it's making teams so uncomfortable to
So now NRG has willingly lost control of this. Okay. They have the guns. They have this control. They have this control. Right. They're gonna give up second mid. And they're gonna also give up art.
We don't have any ground towards A,
And they're gonna give up A side as well.
where we have our safety, which is gonna be mid, and now they'll be able to do a
To a degree where they're gonna give up even the plant. Like you guys can just plant. And we don't mind. We're gonna play for numbers. We're gonna make sure that the rifles do not go in your hands. It's even better if these guys plant, because when they will plant, they will have to cover the plant with at least 2 people, right? Like one person who defends the planter and one person who collects, like who creates like some extra space, right? Like maybe here, maybe here, maybe here. Doesn't really matter, right? But like, so 3 people are required to get the plant in, right? From 4 people. Right? Maybe one person would be lurking somewhere, right? So it's literally better for them to not intercept and just let them plant so that the gripping can stay, right? And then the guns can stay in their hands. It's really cool. This is like a little bit of an, like a bit of a stretch, or like we're getting closer to you know, the line of what is worth and what's not. It's really nice sticking to the protocol of anti-eco rounds.
They are playing quite patient for energy. Still a lot of respect given though. So
This is kind of nice from Boostio as well, to like flash here to check whether people are here or not, because it's very likely someone's staying here.
Cases given, they could be able they should manage to be able to get the plant now for 100Thieves.
Now they have to burn utility to take the site to get the plant in,
Might turn it around like
right? Most of the time, like you would leave like a lurker here or something, but these guys are gonna stalk.
that flip in the map too. Also adding a shear towards flowers. And they have ults to work with for delays.
And really good gripping
Energy
again.
knows there's going to be heavy scaling from 100 Thieves. Look how smart they're playing this. Honestly, no command could get pulled out here once they hear him coming into the site. Yeah,
It's huge. Like again, it's against an eco 4v5, like, or 5v4. They still commit this ult because it's worth maintaining the momentum.
It's going to get used on one side. They may just hold the null command for further rounds. Yeah, Mata starts. There's 2.
So it's like surgical, you know, like giving so much space. Like you usually don't see that, you know, but it's like it makes things like so much more in control of NRG's hands. So it's very nice, and like the retakes are like super surgical as well. So it's like it's worth thinking like this a little bit. Let's watch some other rounds. Like I think we had like a ace clutch here. Yeah, this Mata had no business like winning this. So like these guys, NRG starts with an eco, right? Mata gets a kill here, picks up the rifle, brings it all the way here. These guys have like a decent buy. It's not a full buy. Honestly, I think they should have like tossed one of these guns if they could have, but I don't think they have the money.
Right now coming in from Xander as the team's able to capitalize off of these.
Yeah.
He's in a bit of energy to even
So far, like 100Thieves is winning like very convincingly.
And yeah, they're just scaling to the side. It's gonna be tough for energy.
So now Mata gets like 4K here.
Wait a minute. The gun could be the you have one for NRG.
And it's like 5K.
Divide is out too.
NRG. Do not know dollars and
I don't know if we see it from his POV.
Make sure you're heading over
Oh
to
my.
Yeah, it's just free low.
grabbing.
Anything else that is worth looking at? The first round was pretty good actually. In the second half.
He does have to lose.
No
This is also like really good mid rounding from
bosses
NRG.
either going from either teams, but a
So we're gonna see like a 2-3 split towards B, which is like not a bad call. It's like splits are not like common. B splits are not common for pistol. So like sending something like this is like pretty decent call. It sucks the matchup is not good because NRG is like keeping 3 people here. So the split's gonna get stopped.
Trying to leverage a distance once again for energy. A crossfire set up for 3 players.
But it's alright. I mean, like the util that they're using to enter is not bad, right? So Asuna enters, gets a kill, it's traded. Okay, everything looking good, predictable so far. Maybe, you know, one person would be up with Asuna here, but they're not. It's fine.
Quick frags indeed
So
towards
now they
Strat.
try to push up here based on listening to all the reloads, right? Cryo tries to take the timing, and NRG does something nice, which is they pinch them, right? Rather than bothering with B long at all, or even the site. This is kind of nice from NRG. They give up space and fight for like smarter things, right? So they pinch here.
The king of the
It's
street,
nice
though, is the
pull,
question.
like pick up star here works out for them.
Is Sam and the rest of the team come through this
It's really nice, like pinch from behind.
is spicy right now.
It's a good attempt from EU, like runs out of futility, so runs out of like magazine, so it's a bit unlucky.
from both teams
Trade from Son,
towards mid.
super nice round. Getting pinched in the middle, it's really hard to respond to that. 14 was just good anchoring from NRG, so we're gonna skip that. It's really not much. They leave Som here. Som gets like a couple shots, and then they give up the space,
Just a bit of a pickup
which is
for
really
Cryo
nice.
here, but limping into the site with that judge, he is going to be.
So,
Have been
like
ridiculous.
the way these guys fight, like, you know, it's like it's very nice because they don't over peak, they don't play like super aggressive. You know, they're just holding here, waiting for rotations, you know, marking lines, denying any kind of scaling by just poking in a little bit more, rather than, you know, challenging the people who are coming in. 15th round is not worth watching because there was a scaling issue, so people just died for no reason because they didn't check some angles. Let's see. 16 is okay. It's a little bit weird. So we have like 2-1-2 against 3-1-1. So it's like spread default versus spread default. So there's really no advantage for either team.
And it is going to be
Round starts pretty weird, not gonna lie.
Back towards the orb. Victory that they
Okay, so 100Thieves pokes around a little bit, takes mid,
come back up in a little bit. Mana with that
tries to
pressure.
take
We've
art.
seen the C-long pressure come through quite a bit.
Like Mala gets a pick here, and then NRG just gives up art. Like they're like, okay, fine, and we just got our pick. We're gonna wait for rotations. You can have the site. It's the same thing, like
This time they insert
exchanging
Mana
like
with
space.
Nestle smokes.
You need to block off, so this is gonna.
And being
It's a bit of a
surrounded by
delay.
Bruno, just stalls and one flash left on both EU and
But
Oslo.
then again, the site is given, right? Site is given until rotations happen. You know, we still have Mada actually marking this line with the op, right? So this 4v4 can be fought. This is a little bit weird. I feel like NRG, I think, just gave too much here.
Goes up top.
I think they could have like flooded about now.
Last one that would get a peek in here as he crossfires with Verno just on that back.
But 100Thieves denies the flood. Booster actually gets to push aggressively, which is like too much, honestly.
Oh, they run through.
So NRG's losing here, like very heavily.
Use left and right of the
Someone gets a
structure, but it's gonna
couple.
be still trades from NRG. Slowly,
Only with the
but Verno still.
operator.
Yeah, that's why we're not getting any peeks.
It's a nice peek.
Verno still finds it. Austin is going to be in the open for this one. The knife is there, but he doesn't have time to use it.
It's huge.
Gets the shot onto Mata,
Spam is like
lifting
pretty
the
good as
aim.
well. And this is just very unlucky. Like I think Werner's just like fully like peeked out. It's a little bit rough. So like clutch 2k there, right? But very like 50-50 around that one. This one we saw where like Mada just clutches with the ace. We saw the 18th round with map control that was like surgical. To a degree, the 19th round, like 100Thieves has to like take a timeout. They make like a really nice adjustment actually. So they go for like they
Doing so
take the timeouts, like have slow map control, like work a little bit towards B, right? So force out the smoke. So now NRG cannot tell how many people are here on
Do a good job
100
in
Thieves, like on B
retaking
main.
this. Energy is away as F.
And what they can do is like use this opportunity to like take the space in art or like push A main, but they're a little bit slow with it.
These do want to find a little bit looking towards the external orb.
And
Gonna
pretty
go
loud
for
with
a
it
bit
as well.
energy here.
So they take all the space, they use the knife and the dog and everything. So it's very obvious for NRG what they're doing. But they can afford it because they have like all of these ults. So 4 ults is crazy. Mada goes for this. Like this is pretty standard like protocol, which is like if you're this line is getting pushed, you want to go aggro here to clear any lurkers or like one person. Usually this is like the way A gets split on. The weak side is gonna be A main, and the strong side is gonna be ARC. So it's just good to push into A main.
So
So
much
this was
control.
nice, but I think Mada just like pushes here a little bit too
Mata,
much.
we talked about it on Lotus.
So he's trying to hold
These
off
rays
angle.
sometimes going off by himself, holding things.
Checks
The team
this,
trusts
doesn't
him.
have
He's
his
got the
gun,
skill.
has his
Here the
ult,
A
so
site
it's
comes.
okay.
The hit from 100 Thieves. Quick spam from Ethan, though. They're going to be pushing straight through.
I love that. Pushing back to make sure that you take down
So
the
it's typical, right? Like again, like we've seen all this so far. Like NRG is playing like super passive. They're gonna wait for regrouping.
operator from Mata.
But
And now you give yourself an exit in the post
100 Thieves
plan
is
to
gonna make a little bit change.
play it in front of the A site
Ult
if
is
you need
alright.
to.
Steel guard, just about everything getting whipped out here for the side.
So yeah, EU dodges the Weiss ult,
100
and now
Thieves,
he's
they
gonna
need
go
to secure this
super
round. They
aggro.
want to keep energy off a game point. The importance of this one is huge on energy's.
I'm not sure if he's forced into it because like the missile like just blasted here, you know, as he was leaving.
What a good stall.
One kill, almost a second one spam through the wall. It's going to be another one from EU as he looks for a fourth kill. The jump, possibly the ace
Crazy.
from EU, ladies and gentlemen.
It's actually insane. It's like super locked in. Some of the better shots I've seen. I like how like Mada is actually shocked by
Your
it.
ace. You're going to be getting a $100 gift card or $100 in iBuy and $100 in iBuy.
I feel like bad. I feel bad for Mara on this round.
I mean, he's just impressed. Like it's actually crazy. I
Yeah,
love that.
like he got his off taken and result.
Yeah. Those are some really good shots, man. I want to see them more.
Yeah,
This round,
that
they
was
What a good
insane.
stall.
one kill, almost a second one spam through the
Crisp.
wall. It's going to be another one from EU.
That is crazy.
Kill, the jump, possibly
And
Wow.
they did the top 5 clips,
Uh-huh.
and his guess what his ranked?
Which one is it?
He got 3rd, bro.
Damn.
I was so annoyed. I was like, why do you only get 3rd?
I don't want to see the first two. Well, top 5 of like the tournament so far, or like
No, oh sorry. Of like that, like what was that, second week or something? Whatever
see.
week it was. Like he got, yeah. I was like so annoyed.
that's
She's
unfortunate.
finished.
Deserves more. Okay. This round was rough because okay. I feel like 100 Thieves just had like the nicest adjustment, and then they have this like really strong position from Xander. They can like create a lot of like pressure here,
Hopefully catch somebody out. He's
but
been good in these moments, and he ADSs on a
they're
12
gonna
rounds,
burn
really
like
giving it though. 100
all
Thieves
of their
like a full bunch
utility
now.
like here.
back to the op.
Like you know, like they took all of this space, right? And then like look at their util now. Like they have like so little left.
He's about to jump up.
And if you take all of the space, you need to get picks here. Like, but they're just not gonna be able to move up.
Almost a deja vu, but both players missed.
Mada gets bullied
But
out
we are
here,
pitching back for 100
and
Thieves.
instead of like looking for picks here, which is what they should have done, because they burnt all their utility trying to get this space, right? They just decide, okay, we're gonna pinch into B. This is like a fundamental like problem. Like they should know that if they just pinch, even if they pinch into B with whatever util they have left, they're not gonna have anything up for the retake, to stop the retake. So it's really not good.
Snuff towards that B site to swarm that area.
But on top of all of that,
Cosmic divide. Oh,
because they're missing utilities, they're really hard to clear all this as well. Right? If they had like, imagine if they had like a prowler here, right? then
B-site to
like some would get caught, right? But because they drained all their utility, taking all the space, right? They should know that they can't just execute sites. They can't just take things like fast. So they don't have the Prowler to clear this. Som gets like
swarm that area.
a really nice spot.
Cosmic Divide. Oh, Som, you are disgusting. He does it again.
And yeah, that's pretty much
Few
over.
more. FNS and the team feel like they just have to. Incredible.
So very clean from there. Again, like it's a bit of a fundamental problem.
Still putting out numbers no matter what he's on.
This I think NRG just fucks up. Again, I think like this is like too much of what they have been doing, which is like giving up a lot of space to get win conditions, right? Again, 100 Thieves doesn't have the best weapons, right? Like 2 rifles and a stinger.
100 Thieves, the ultimate
And
pressure on.
NRG has an
Is
op
NRG looking
that's
to close
lined
out
up
their map,
here,
bring it-
which is nice, honestly. He's standing on top of the box. It's really good because with this kind of economy, it's very likely that art would get pushed.
To a third. That decider is bind closer to both teams having an incredible.
Round was played on the defensive end for NRG. They really pulled the rug under the momentum that 100.
Blue, hello. I think your audio glitched.
My bad. I think I was muted. Thanks for that. But good fake from Busio. I don't know if you guys heard that part. But he flashed here to collect information through mid, right? Whether people pushed up or not. And then also it fakes that 100 Thieves is pushing mid, right? And goes here. And then they clear this with the Fade Prowler, which is surely heard by not Xander, sorry, by Som. So it's looking like a B split, right, from NRG's perspective, while 100 Thieves is coming A main. So it's a pretty good round so far.
Broken to 2 rifles, a stinger.
This is good from like a really good reclear from Ethan, because right now people should be here, like either here or like getting ready for a B split. So both of that gets cleared, right? NRG realizes that they are not here, they're not here. You know, so they could be here because they heard prowlers, or they could be getting ready for an A take, a main take.
The longer that you wait around these times, you're gonna get snuffed by
So the decision is that they're just gonna let B side for free and fight for A side.
No matter what, have the opportunity of salvos in the last seconds.
100 Thieves goes for a bit of a fake towards A. Use some utility, pull full rotations, 35 seconds remaining. All the rotations come towards A.
This rotation from NRG. They're biting hard here. They feel
Except for
comfortable
Som.
with the retake
And
on
like
that
Som
map.
is doing what you should be doing, which is if it really looks like, you know, very late game, it really looks like it's an A push. If you're in charge of this site, which Tom is, you play on the edge, you know, ready to rotate, but you don't rotate until there's a spike plan. You know, you don't want to hard anchor. Here though, it might be good to hard anchor backside, but you can play on the edge. Like you can play this area, you can play heaven, you can play here even, but it's a little bit rough because this can get pinched like late game, and that's really problematic.
Massive rotate. That's
I
what that
think
tells
Mada
me.
was doing that
And they're
one
just gonna-
round, and he was holding hall with the north, and then he was a bit late for rotate
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
round.
Yeah, so that's the cost of it, which is why like playing like the edge is like nice because the rotations are a little bit faster.
Go ahead
Yeah.
and give up that B site. You see how far back.
So it's nice.
Som
Okay, well this is
is
like pretty
playing.
obvious.
So they
Okay.
can make this
So
work.
I think here, I really think like Som should have fought. This kind of sucks because this goes up. Surely there's only 1 or 2 people in, right? And all of this is up. He should have the timing to fight.
Later.
And it's not the spike that
I
crosses
really don't like that he plays like super passive here. Like surely people are here. Right? Can fight this, I think.
over, so that's good delay for the rotate to
Huge
happen.
delay.
I don't know if FNS is like knifed or not. Because if he's not knifed, he could actually get some inside.
No salvos left though for Ethan.
10
But
seconds and they plant up.
this is
means they
not
have
what
to
you
stay
want to
in
do. This
sight.
is what I was mentioning earlier. This is like a 5v5 retake situation. You do not want to do 5v5 retakes on like full buys or any kind of buys.
The fight is going to be right up front here.
Because the attackers get a ton of time. If you have 5 people to sort of like invest, you can invest like 2 people to delay this area, 1 person to delay this area, and then 2 people to play post one, like, you know. So it's too much time. It's way too much time. So you cannot afford that as defenders, like as retakers.
Defensive side of where energy's coming back in, the low buy.
This is huge from Cryo to actually go aggro here, like looking for people who are rotating through this.
To go aggressive.
It's a big win con at this spot. At least for any players.
So
rotating
much
back.
time is
Yeah, we
wasted.
see
Is
all-
wasted.
Everybody from NRG are trying to fight back from the spawn.
Flash, smoke coverage, trying to pull any members of 100 Thieves out of the woodwork.
And then
before
they get
need to
flooded
leave.
here. This is actually really nice from 100 Thieves to make this the kill zone. It really sucks for NRG that there's only one way for them to enter. Like 4 people are entering just the same way. You know, maybe 1 person is 7.
The pop flash, great kills coming in from the Stinger and the rest of the trades, but energy finally frags
So
in.
it's just
Maybe
free
they can
though.
Possibly close this one out to 2v2. Another round.
You know, fish in a barrel. It's like the same thing. Take a timeout. Now, timeouts like these are super good because even though like NRG has no money right now, right? This timeout is not gonna be like used to make a strategy for this round, but the next round. But also because timeout is called right now, 100 Thieves gets extra pressure off this round, and then the other thing is like any momentum that 100 Thieves was building right now, it's gonna get like stopped. So this is kind of a nice timeout.
Into this one.
Now,
Good. So
100 Thieves is gonna make the blunder that we talked about again. The strategy that is tied with economy, right? Which is they have a full buy, right, against an eco. What they want to make sure is that their rifles do not go in the hands of the eco team, right? So they should not be playing solo. They should not be sending lurks. They should not be playing in like tight spaces, like, you know, short range spaces, which is what they decide to do.
Round 20.
Their default looks like this. People are super spread out, right? These 3 players are fighting maybe 1 person, right? So this is already really bad.
To a default, no spike here.
But they're gonna notice this. Okay,
They're
maybe
gonna
they fight a little
really
bit.
pressure
Boostio
the map to get
gets away from this situation, right? These 3 guys go and like push into art, which is another thing that you want to try and avoid. Notice how we talked about like art is good for eco teams to push. And the other way around, if you push into art, when you exit this, it's all short range fights. So you want to avoid that generally.
NRG moving around and figure out where they might be to hear
So this is actually huge from NRG to take like all of aiming control. So now they can wrap around, they can find like isolated fights.
position.
Now they give up art, which is great for them because the more 100 Thieves spreads into it, the better it is for them. 'Cause if they spread into here, for example, they're gonna find like 1v1s or 1v2s, I mean, rather than like grouped fights, which is what 100 Thieves should take.
already got behind though.
Yeah,
They keep falling into
so
this.
far,
This is actually really bad.
where's
So
this-
now 100 Thieves, even with this economy, they're spread out in 1, 2, 3, 4 units. Which is crazy. All of them are disconnected from each other. No, it's not what you
Gonna
want.
go. Why not?
The push
So
on
when this fight
that
happens,
gets punished or
there's a trade, right? There's a trade, but there's no like capitalization on it. It's really difficult because they're so spread out.
EU is gonna try to
Every trade will go in favor of NRG. Every time a trade happens, these guys lose 1 rifle, and then these guys gain 1 rifle. Or even if they don't gain, even if they're not able to pick this up, it's still like a net loss for 100 Thieves.
sell
So
some
that's
sort of
one opportunity given. And then
still a 1 for
this is a really nice play from Mada. Mada actually had like one of the better games. It's been playing really well. This is really good aggro. This is not like a common timing on aggro. This is not protocol, right? He sees that a fight just happened here. 100 Thieves have better economy, right? So they're not gonna try and linger here too long. Okay, so he takes the timing, like, pushes himself inside their like area of control essentially, right? With the help of the smoke. Right now he's gonna hear these rotations, and then take timing based on that.
Take that on the side of NRG.
So here's Asuna on the KO running.
Mata hearing a bunch of footsteps run away here. He might be predicting.
He is like
right on the heels of the team.
audible as well.
Oh, this last peek. How long are they gonna look?
Oh,
so timing is like super good.
And there's this Bucky just around the corner. Oh no.
There's pain on every side.
That's one.
Starts to deliver. Only one from...
I mean, this one is traded out. Okay, 2 people here. Mata is now activated. Utility used, like stun used. So Warno gets a kill. Mata gets a kill. And that's over, right? So huge like mistake coming in from 100 Thieves. Again, it's all like tied into econ, right? And it's like it's very fundamental, but and it's like so easy, you know what I mean? Like it's so easy to make like strats off of econ. But like these things you want to keep in mind. But that's the difference between the 2 teams, you know. It's very clear as well. Like the level of gameplay, the difference. The first time these guys fought against each other, NRG was playing like super sloppy, and obviously they didn't have any of the new comps. Right? Like they weren't running all this shit. They were running like a little bit of Weiss, right? 100 Thieves had some of the best trading that I've seen. Really good trading, really good like spacing and stuff, and tactics for team like for gunfights. But here it's like a lot of fundamentals missing, and then like you know, like phase planning just missing, where they only plan for like 2 rounds, not like 2 phases, not the other 2. So, yeah, that's the strategic difference here. But yeah, that's where we end for today.